Hey mathematicians, today we're going to look at sales tax and income tax. It's basically just percent questions. I think the best way to answer these are to use the percent equation. So we'll use percent of total equals part to answer these. Alright, so the first question says the sales tax rate in Galveston County is 8.25%. If Stefan bought a $400 game console, how much sales tax was added to the cost of the game console? Okay, so the percent is 8.25% of the total cost is $400. Remember, your total can also mean original. So the original amount of the game console was $400. So we have to make our percent a decimal. So we divide by 100, move our decimal point over 2 times to the left. Of, remember, means multiply. So we just have to multiply. When you're multiplying with zeros, you can just bring them straight down. You don't have to do like rows of zeros. You just bring them straight down. Okay, now we have to move our decimal over. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So he's going to pay 30. Oh, goodness, that's a mess. Let's try that again. So he's going to pay $33 in tax. Remember, when you grid it, you got to make sure you line up your place values or put your place values in the right spot. Right? It's 3 ones and 3 tens, so it has to go before the decimal. If you need to put the 0.00, then do it. All right, go ahead. Well, number 2 is a little different. It says, in New York, the sales tax rate is 9%. Jose paid $6.30 in sales tax for the souvenirs. How much were the souvenirs before tax? How much were the souvenirs before tax? Okay, so $9%. We don't know the original amount of the items, so our total is blank. And then we know the sales tax was $6.30. Alright, so we move our decimal. So this will be 0.09 times the total equals 630. And then to solve it, we have to divide. Okay, so it's neato. The numerator goes inside. So, and the denominator goes outside. Move our decimal, move it, move it, move it, move it. So 9 can't go into 6. 9 can go into 63 7 times. And then 9 goes into 0 times. So the items were $70. So a $70 item, he paid $6.30 in sales tax. Alright, so 7 tens, 0 ones, 0 tenths, 0 hundredths. Okay, so now it's your turn. Try the next two. Try number 3 and number 4. So pause the video, try them, and then you can check to see if you got it correct. So it's 9.5% of $36. So move our decimal. So it'll be 0.095 times 36. And move our decimal. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So the sales tax is $3.42. All right, number 4, paid $6.39 in sales tax, or 7.5%. So how much did the item cost? So this one is like number 2. So we've got to divide this one. So $6.39 divided by, so we got to move our decimal 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so 75 can't go into 6. It can't go into 63. 7 goes into 63 9 times, but that would be exact. So it's not going to be 9. It's probably going to be 7 or 8. So I'm just going to go down here. I'm going to start with 8. See what we got. Yeah, so 8 will go. If I multiply that correctly, then 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. 7 times 6 is 42, so that's going to be too big. So 75 times 5. There's my decimal. I'm going to bring it up, bring down the 0. And that will be twice. So the cost was $85.20. So the sales tax is just like solving a percent question. Exactly the same. Sometimes we multiply, sometimes divide. If we're missing the sales tax, it's multiply, and if we're missing the total, we have to divide. All right, income tax is basically just a percent as well. You pay a certain percent in income. I know a lot of people think, oh, I get my income tax back. Well, actually, you're getting a refund on your income tax that you pay, is what you're thinking about. All right, so you have to pay it first. It comes out of your check every month or every paycheck. And then if you pay too much, then the government gives you your money back. All right, so let's take a look at what Diego has to do. So Diego earns $75,000 per year. The table shows his tax rate if he is single or married. How will the amount of income tax he pays be affected if he changes his status from single to married filing jointly? Okay, so if he goes from single to married, well, it's going to go down, right? How much is it going to go down? So it's 28%, and it goes down to 17%, so it goes down 11%, right? So D would be wrong because D says it would increase, but it's definitely going to decrease, right? Okay, so we know how much he earns a year. That apparently is not going to change. So percent of total equals part. So 11% is how much it will change, or how much it'll go down, times 75,000 equals X. So we'll do 0.11 times 75,000. Now, I'm just going to bring these zeros down and then start multiplying by the 11. Move it, move it. So he will pay $8,250 less. So C. No, that's nice. That's a benefit of getting married, isn't it? That's a lot less money in income tax. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, or if somebody just made those numbers up. So don't get married just for that, okay? All right, so Mrs. Jackson, let's look at number 6. Mrs. Jackson earned $78,000 annually. So annually just means yearly. It means every year. Her state income tax rate is 3 8/10%. How much does she owe? Ooh, per month for state income tax. All right. So we can either figure out how much she gets a month, or we can figure out the total income tax and then figure out how much that would be per month. Let's do the income tax. Let's find out how much tax she would have to do first. Okay, so percent of total equals part. It won't matter which one you choose to do. I was just trying to think of which one would be easier as far as mathematically. All right, so move our decimal, move it, move it. All right, so 78,000 times 58, 59, 61, 62. Three. A lot of multiplying. Okay, so this is not a decimal, so let me remind you that's a comma, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, so 2,964 is for the year, but our question says for the what? For the month. So how many months are in a year? That's right, 12. So we've got to take the 2,964 and divide it by 12. I almost ran out of room here. I think 48, right? It's 4. So $247 a month. Whew, there it is, C. All right, last one. Malik filed his federal income tax as a single person. His taxable income is $45,000. Use the tax table above to calculate the federal income tax Malik will have to pay. All right. So if the taxable income is over this amount, which his is, but not over this, which it's not, the tax is this much plus 15% of the amount over. Okay, so 45,000 is definitely over, so we have to figure out how much over, because it says plus 15% of the amount that's over. So we have to subtract that to see how much is over. All right, so it's 2,150 over, and he's going to pay 15% of that. So that's our percent of total equals part. So 15%. And the 27,000 will be the total, because that's what he has to pay the taxes on. So move it, move it. All right. A lot of multiplying. All right. Decimal moves twice. All right, so on the amount that's over this amount, right, he's paying this, but he also has to pay that. So we have to add it. We have to make sure we line up our decimal. So 4,072.50 plus 1,785. So he has to pay $5,860.50 in tax. Whew. That's complicated. The real stuff is super complicated. This is just like the basics. All right, so today you learned how to find sales tax and find income tax. And it's basically like using percents and using the percent of total equals part.